Good evening and welcome to another episode of Face to Face. Yours truly, Mr. Ken, and it's the official countdown to the 100th episode of Face to Face. Today we have a special guest in the studio, my main man, Lloyd Daniels. What's going on, man?
What's going on, brother?
How's everything?
Everything good. Everything good. You know my motto. Try to make $1 out of 15 cents.
I hear you. Yeah. So what's new, man? I see, you bought this big book, man, on consumer laws, man. A big, gigantic book. Tell us a little bit more about that.
Yeah, man. It's just something, I've been trying to get into and studying because, there's a lot of, I always said it, there's always mysteries when it's coming around. And I remember one time there's, when like everywhere you go, people used to always say we could fix your credit, yeah. This, that, and all stuff like. I'm like, fix your credit, and I never really understood that. And then one day I'm just reading something. So there's a website called the FDCPA, right? Mm-hmm. Pretty much protecting you, protecting you from these kind of things. And I'm like, and one day I was like, but wait. There's a thing called the creditor and there's a thing called the debitor. And I realized, wait, but the banks need us. We don't need them. And then I started diving even more that these credit unions, which is like Experian, TransUnion,
Equifax,
and Equifax, right? People think like these are government. No, they're not. They're just they're their own private entity. Like they're not affiliated with the government or anything like that. And I'm like, with each one, you can you could sue them. You could write in certain affidavits or letters letting them like, hey, listen, this thing on my credit or whatever. I never had this transaction, whatever, and they could wipe that off.
Really?
Yeah, and I'm like, oh snap! I'm like, okay, and then the thing is, and I just started like diving into word. I'm very big on words. I started looking them up. I'm like, wait, so we're the creditor. So without us, they don't exist. So how you gonna deny me for for credit for something which is God given already? So I just started diving in more. Then this with consumer laws come in and stuff like that. I'm still learning because it's a lot. But you look up some of these USC codes or whatever. Like USC 1592A and all these stuff like that. It's just and I just started getting into. I'm like, yo, some of these things, and like I said, a lot of these terms they're like legalese. Yeah. Which is a term in law. So a lot of the wording could like mess you up from time to time, but as you read it, and one thing with me, when I don't understand words, I highlight it, I go look it up, and then I go back to the sentence again to try to put the two and two together. But pretty much I'm saying like without us, they don't exist. So you are a creditor, like you can't fix them that you already had already. Yeah. But the thing is that we just don't know that we're the creditors. They need us. They're the debtors. Remember, this country's in debt. They don't have no money. Right. The thing I always tell people all the time, there's no money. Yeah. It's credit. Everything is on credit.
Everything's on credit. Yeah. Yeah. A lot of things that we don't know, like the things that you just said just now, we don't know. So we always think that, we need the bank. Like, we need this. We need them for a lot of things. We need to buy houses, this, that, So, how long you been into this? How long you been?
I want to say for maybe like a year.
And you do a lot of reading?
A lot. It's just a lot. It's just a lot of reading because, like I said, like a lot of these stuff, and it's it's very it's new. So when you get into these kind of things, like when you read them, like the words, it's very tricky. Yeah. So when you read it, like there's many times I had to read like a chapter maybe like 3-4 times to actually get it. Yeah. And there's one thing to know these things, but you have to put in place because when you call these. When you call these companies or these banks, and let's say, you use some of these laws and stuff like that. Because remember, they thinking the average person don't know this. Right. You know what I'm saying? They know it, but, they assuming like, okay, well, the American people are stupid. They don't know, so we just gonna go with it. Yeah. You gotta know how to put it in place because they're gonna challenge you. And even if you do put in a certain remedy, they're like, okay, well, what about this? And then you might be stuck like, oh, okay. So in other words, you got to always be on defense. It's like going to court. You always got to be on defense. Right. Like such and such said this. Okay, well, I got a rebuttal for this. So
have you ever felt anything, like have you ever been put in a position where you had to fight and you won the case? They reversed it. Like a
to be
ticket or
honest with you,
something like that?
I've gotten a few things off my credit, but this I didn't have to write the affidavit. I literally just called them up and I just told them like, listen, this wasn't mine. So I need this off.
And how easy was it? Is it easy or not?
To be honest, it depends who you talk to at the moment.
Yeah.
Because you gotta remember, a lot of times when you talk to these, when you call these people, whatever, that's just the representative. You gotta talk to like, who's the supervisor or the president at that time. You gotta call and speak to their overseer, their manager, because the people talking about, they don't know all these stuff. They're like, I don't know this. Like what USC code? Like I don't know that. Yeah. So you gotta talk to them. But the 2 times that it happened to me, it was one on TransUnion Experian. They had some error over there, and it had dropped down my points. I'm like, I never had this. So I went and I told them like, yo, I never did this. You need to take this off. And I confirmed them, yada yada yada, whatever. They was like, okay. So then I think maybe then 3 days it was off. Right. Like some of them you could just contact them, just write them, just write them an email, and then if that don't work, then you got to take further steps ahead.
So those companies, you always see the commercials. Oh, if you have anything on your credit, we'll fight it for you, and all this kind of stuff. Those commercial ads and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. What are those companies? Those are just companies trying to get your money.
Just trying to get your money.
Trying to get your money.
Pretty much.
Yeah, free credit report.
Yeah.
Exactly. When you consolidate, when you call it.
Oh man, I know what you're talking about.
Credit consolidation,
yes,
whatever.
Yes. Yeah. It's just a money grab. Yeah. And the funny thing is that you can actually. I was reading about this too. Like with those people, when they do stuff like that, actually, you could sue them. You could actually charge them a fee. Like, okay, for every fault that you do, like my fee is $1,000. My fee is $1,000 for each day. You do something like that. Mm. So it's a lot of things. It's very in depth, man. It's very in depth.
Yeah, let's say I was looking at it right now.
Mm-hmm.
Those free credit score repairs. And stuff. We'll repair your credit score for you.
Yeah,
and all that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. You're into history. I see you're into history. How'd you get into that? High school, or you just decided to do more research on your own?
The thing is,
because the history they teach us in school is like
it's their history. It's not ours.
History. I know.
I love history, man. That's my thing, man. To be honest with you, that's my thing. A lot of reading on stuff like that. But I think the things with history, like I've told people, we've been lied to.
Yeah.
A lot. Because you gotta remember, even with the words, his story. Yeah, it's his story. His story.
Yeah.
And my thing is, I always say, how can foreigners tell you about your history?
Yeah.
If you want to start here, like with North America, they'll come and say, we brung slaves here, or
what's the real deal behind that? The whole slave stuff. How did it all start? There's many different stories.
I mean, to be honest with you, that slave story that they told y'all, it did not happen that way. It happened in reverse. The first slaves were the Irish that was here.
Okay.
They were bringing them in here first. And the thing is, and like I said, we gotta go back to words. Even the word slave. Mm-hmm. If you look up the etymology, I'm very big on etymology. Definitions change, origins don't.
Right.
So even look up the definition of slave. It's a Slavic word. Mm. You know what I mean? And so technically, slave have nothing to do with you. That's for the people that's from Slovenia and stuff like that. Mm. So why are you calling yourself a slave? And technically, all of us are slave. If you're working for someone, you work in a corporation, you're a slave. The only thing is now you're being paid for your labor, for your wages.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I think history is to me is the biggest thing, because it shapes our mindset going into the world, the way you eat, the way you think, the way you judge people.
Yeah, I know.
We don't really think about it that way.
The way we communicate with people, the way we look at people, everything. Yeah,
exactly. It's from a historic concept. So,
it shapes religion as well, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. You know what I mean? Because I always say, it's a quote from Napoleon. Without religion, the poor would murder the rich. Because the thing is, you gotta remember, for people to be rich, they have to be a poor. You know what I'm saying? Because if everybody was on the same page.
I thought about that too. How you think life would be if everyone was wealthy?
Because
everyone had the same.
Well, you know why? Because certain groups wouldn't be in power if everybody was on the same page. But you can't. You can't conquer a world. You can't conquer a group of people if everybody's on the same page. It's impossible.
Yeah, someone has to dominate.
Yeah, that's why here they'll tell you, we got rich, we got middle class. To me, there's no such thing as middle class. It's either you got it or you don't. Some got a little bit more than others, I guess. But
I guess the middle class people who's doing all right. You know,
See, but
you're
to
not
me-
poor, but you're doing all right.
See, but to me, that's subjective. If you're around a person that's worth $10 million and I'm making $100,000, you're like, you poor. You know what I'm saying? Like, it
Yeah.
depends. Now, if I'm making $100,000 and if somebody's making $40,000, he may think, oh yeah, you got money. You know what I'm saying? So it's,
Right.
to me, it's subjective.
Right, right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, what exactly rich and poor?
Well, like sometimes too, you know, sports actually say, like I was talking about the other day, Allen Iverson. Allen Iverson, they say he was broke. He couldn't afford a cheeseburger. The athletes, they're broke. It's not out broke.
But
you
the
know?
thing was, Allen Iverson, he's smart though, because Reebok, when he signed the thing, they put in a trust for him.
trust, yeah.
I think when he turns
40? No, he's more than 40. 50,
no,
right?
I think when he's like 50 something, yeah, he gets
Yeah.
like a little stipend, like $20 million. That's the smartest thing.
Yeah.
Reebok did, that's the smartest thing, because if he didn't have that to look forward for that,
Right.
yeah, he probably would have let him be broke.
But I'm trying to say, like, they're broke. Like, even when Tyson went broke, they said, oh, Tyson's broke. But remember, his broke is not our broke kind of thing.
Well, yeah.
You know, his
Yeah.
net worth is still a lot to us.
But you got to remember, when you used to a certain lifestyle, you worth $10 million, and you
Yeah.
damn near down to like a million or hundreds of thousands of dollars. So you're just like, yo, man, shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Can you imagine if Elon Musk woke up to Oprah's money? He'd be like, what? Like, nah, like what? Like, I'm about to kill myself.
Yeah. To us, he's still rich, but to him, it's like, yeah, he's like, oh.
Yeah.
So, what's the story about Christopher Columbus, man? There's many different stories about him, you know,
Columbus.
discovering America or something like that and things of that nature.
Well, I mean, obviously he didn't discover. Well, the thing is that when he first, obviously he went through the Caribbean.
Yeah.
First. Well, it was him, and he had other people on there too. He had friars, he had priests over there and stuff like that. And the thing is with Christopher Columbus, he was a Spaniard and an Italian. Matter of fact, his real name is Cristoforo Colombo. Yeah, that's his real name.
Wow.
So, pretty much, when he first came here, right? What happened was, and this is before 1492, so this is around 1489, right? At the time, it's called maritime law. Who ruled the seas? So at the time, Spain and Portugal had ruled the seas because they had something called the Spanish Armada. So they ruled the seas first. They the only ones that had ships. So he went up to, at the time, it was King Ferdinand and Queen Isabella, right? And he said, listen, I just need you to grant me one ship. I found out, there's gold and all this stuff like that in this area. This is South America at the time. He didn't come to North America yet. He's going to South America. And he was like, I just need you to grant me one ship. He's like, all right, we'll give you this one ship. Fine. And at the time, Europe was going through, is a term, you can look this up, it's called the Dark Age. It's called the bubonic plague. At the time, Europe was going through a dark age, so they needed something. So he's like, all right, cool. So he goes down there, and as he's going through South America, he goes, he meets the Arawak people, all these tribes. There's no such thing as black and Indian. These weren't terms at the time.
Right.
That's why I hate when people call themselves. That's a whole nother.
That's what I was going to ask. Yeah, I was going to ask you about that next.
But anyway, so he goes down over there and he sees these people dripped in gold. He's like, what? And when he goes over there, one of the guys gives him like a bangle, like, man, what's this gold bangle? I don't know what it is, but this look wealthy. So he goes back to Queen Isabel and King Ferdinand. He's like, yo, listen, I don't know what it is, but these people gave me this gold. It's like they got a lot of stuff there. And that's when they say, you know what? This is going to get us out the Dark Age. He's like, all right, so we're going to grant you some ships. And that's when they came with priests, with friars and stuff like that. And that's why they say, as far as Brazil, outside of Africa, the second biggest imports of Africans is in Brazil. Because Brazil got a lot of people. I think it's over maybe 200, 300 million people in there.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
As far as over there. So,
country, yeah.
Absolutely. So now after he goes to the Caribbean and South America, what they do now, obviously what they do with every country, they preach the gospel, they preach the word. That's why if you notice all over the Caribbean and all over Latin America and stuff, like everything is a saint this, saint that, saint this, saint that. Yeah. Even with you in Barbados, everything's a saint things because that's called what Catholicism is. So they made everybody Catholic. So what they would do, they'll go over to people, they're like, this is what we do, and then what end up happening. I'm trying to like put all this in one.
Nah, keep dropping the gems,
right? So what they did, they went back and they got at the time, the Pope, right? So he gave him like what is called an edict. So an edict is pretty much saying we're giving you, like, you know, you could conquer them. Tell them they're like infidels, so you can go and we give you the permission to conquer them. So you could go over there. You could, you know, if you got to take them out, if they don't abide by, you know, your rules, pretty much you could just take them out. So he's like, all right. So he launches an edict or whatever the case may be. And he's like, listen, go over there, get those, you know, those original people that's over there. It's either you convert them, or you kill them off. Now, the thing is, I always say is a lot of people just kind of just conformed.
Yeah.
You know, they try to say, oh, people died. No, people fought. You know what I'm saying? People fought, but at the end of the day, you know, and let's be honest with you. And a lot of people, you know, a lot of us, our own people sold us out too. Like, oh, yeah, you know, because, like I said, they came in giving gifts and all this kind of stuff like that. Yeah. So, it's I mean, I can go in for days, man. It's a long story, though. But for the most part, it's just, you know, indoctrinating and misinformation.
What do you think about what Kanye West said? You know, when it was a big controversy when he says that slavery was like a choice.
Yes, I agree.
You agree?
Slavery is a choice.
Everyone went crazy.
Yeah, I remember that. Slavery is a choice.
So what was he trying to say? A lot of people went crazy about it. He was trying to explain something to the sense.
Well, what he said, which I agree with. Yeah. He was like, "You talking about 400 years, and we still in slavery?" To me, that sounds like a choice, which he's absolutely right. If you're in a battleship, right, and let's say you're my father, and I, you know, as a kid, I see you, you know, you're fighting some people, they end up killing you and stuff like that. Cool. 2 generations down, I get somewhat your age, and they're trying to enslave me now. I already see what they did to you. Then they trying to enslave me, and then my son sees it. Then my son. So this is like almost decades. You don't think somebody gonna be like, nah, this ain't it. And my thing is that how can a group of pale faces, right? So let's just say there's like, let's just use numbers, right? So let's say there's over 100,000 people of us. These pale faces, they come on these little skiff boats. They didn't have ships then. They didn't have boats then. You know, they didn't have navigation or anything. Like, you come over here, you don't know the land, you don't speak the language, don't know the food, don't know nothing. How the fuck are you communicating? Yeah. Right? So my thing is, you're telling me. So let's say maybe it's like 15 of these white, like you know, like of these white boys. Let's just give or take. You telling me these 15 people could get 100,000 people?
That's what he was trying to say. He was just like, they outnumbered them. So how you let these guys?
That's what I'm saying. And you talking about? They didn't say no.
But a lot of people were saying they were upset because it was like, you know, these guys couldn't get free because.
Well, you know why? Because they've been told a story. They did what they did.
Handcuffed, shackled. There's no way they could have get their freedom.
No, they wasn't.
When Kanye West said like, yo, these guys were bigger. They were stronger. There's so many of them. How the hell though?
But you see, they
control all those people.
But you see, but that's a myth, because at the end of the day, you never seen a picture of, you know, they got you upside the boat. What they did is show you a diagram. That stupid diagram that they show with 100 people on a cargo ship, that's not real, because I'm gonna give you something to think about, right? So if you're bringing people from so-called Africa to over here, right? You know how long that journey is? That's maybe like almost like a. Remember, there were no GPS, no compass, no nothing. They don't know where the hell they going. Don't speak the language, nothing. Right. So you're telling me you're gonna put, so-called Africans that's like 7-8 feet tall, stronger, muscular than you. You telling me only maybe 20? I give maybe 30 of y'all could come to the country, put all these people as cargo. So here's the thing, right? You gotta feed them, because remember, you're bringing them here to work. But if you're not feeding them, you gotta, obviously you gotta feed them. You gotta make sure this. You gotta bathe them and stuff like that. So you telling me they're gonna go hungry? They're gonna piss and shit in their own manure and all that stuff like that, and still survive within 6 months? That's impossible. Think about it. If I send you in a barrel right now to Barbados, right? Yeah. Right? How you gonna pee? You eventually gonna want to pee and shit and eat, and I put you over there. You on the plane for like 4 days. You surviving? Hell no. You're not going to survive. Right. So I tell people just think about that. But these are the fairy tales they do, and they keep that to keep you submissive at the end of the day. Like, don't forget where you come from. Remember, you was still a slave, whatever, stuff like that. None of y'all never seen. No, I'm pretty sure none of your grandparents said, "Oh, I was in shackles, I was a slave." No, you wasn't. And here in North America, if you did, all you did was you seen Jim Crow laws. That's something different. That's not slavery. That's just vagrancy laws. Jim Crow laws. Jim Crow came in
Yeah, what's that law about, the Jim Crow law?
Well, Jim Crow is pretty much a vagrancy law. So what ended up happening was they started enforcing Jim Crow. I want to say, I don't know exact date, but I want to say maybe towards maybe like the 1930s. That was more towards the South, obviously.
Right.
So what they were saying, like, they'll come up with like stupid stuff because they didn't want you to prosper. Remember, at that time, somehow melanated people were prospering. They had their own, like, with Tulsa, Oklahoma. You got, and a lot of people don't bring this up, Weeksville over here in New York.
Yeah.
You got, they had probably, you had Chicago, you had Harlem over here, and they were still prospering. Even with, with race and stuff, they were still doing their own thing. They had businesses, all these kind of stuff like that. So they were jealous. They were like, you know what? No, we got to put a little stop to this. We're going to start coming up with these vagrancy laws, or statute code. So what they would do, like, they had something called the sundown law. Like, if we see you, after sundown, you still walking around, we could put you in jail. They were just making up crazy shit just to put you in jail. And this is what they did. And obviously at the time, us, we were really condescending. I'm like, what the hell? They just come up with these? They were just literally just making it up as they go along, as they always did. You know what I'm saying? And you got to realize is that what they doing, they're preying off your ignorance because they didn't want you to prosper at the end of the day. Because first they said, like, here's this, right? I'm gonna end on this. So first, remember they were saying, oh, we don't want you to go to school with us. None of this. They want to keep everything segregated, right?
Yeah.
Why is it on the sun? If I'm not mistaken, maybe towards the late 1960s, going to 70s. On the sun's like, I remember the infamous picture. I think it was a young lady. She was going to university. I think it was University of Alabama. I'm not sure. And she was like the so-called first black girl to get into that school. I remember everybody's looking at it, was, cursing at her, this, that, whatever the case may be, right? Why is it all of a sudden now you want to integrate us? You know why? Because they know how powerful you are. Wait, it's something about these motherfuckers. How they so creative? How they creating all this shit? And we keep sticking it to them. They keep creating shit. They got the music. Obviously we got the melody. They got the music. They got the rhythm. They got all these. Half of the stuff that we use right now is all invented by us.
Yeah.
All invented by us. He's like, how is it these motherfuckers? We told them they can't read. They can't do this. How the fuck are they still creating shit? You know what we're gonna do? We're gonna let them join us. Fuck it. They want to eat with us. They want to go to school with us. You know what? Fuck it.
Yeah.
Think about it. So he's like, you know what? Listen,
you can't beat them, join them.
Exactly. It's just like with Jackie Robinson. Everybody always celebrating Jackie Robinson. So Jackie Robinson wasn't even the best player in the Negro Leagues. It was Satchel Paige and a lot of these guys. They just took him because he was the only.
He broke the color barrier.
He was the only Negro that I'm like, hey, yeah, okay, I'll side with, I'll go with y'all.
But as a player, he wasn't that good.
No, he was terrible.
A lot of people wouldn't know that. People would think that he's like one of the great.
No, he wasn't even looking at stats. He stole bases and stuff, but he wasn't no great player. Motherfuckers like he was like Hank Aaron or something like that. No, he wasn't. But he was the poster child, like, hey, come over here, come join us or whatever stuff like that. And obviously it set a precedent after a while and stuff like that. But this is what they do. And they do it up to this day. Whatever you do and it's trendy, what they do, they infiltrate it.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, they don't give you no credit. And a lot of times with us, we just want to be in the building. So we just have like, oh, they validate us. Like even like
with the music, right?
Even with the movies. Everybody gets all amped up like, oh, was it the Oscars or the Emmys or was it the Grammys or whatever? Why you care? Why you care what other groups think? Why you care what white people think about you or other groups think about you? If you know your music is good, your movie is good, why you can't create your own? I always say, why you can't create your own?
What do you think about when they say white people are culture vultures, basically, taking out, taking a...
Well, the only way you could be a culture vulture is if you allow them.
Yeah.
So you've allowed them because you want acceptance from them. Mm-hmm. It's always been like that.
Right.
You feel like if it ain't white, it ain't right. Like a lot of times, like it's not validated unless they validate it. I don't know where they get that mindset from or whatever. Mm. I tell people all the time, when me and you talk, we are the original people at the end of the day.
Yeah.
But I always say when you don't have a sense of self and people are telling you who you are, how you gonna really know?
And you also said too, we talk about it all the time. You also said stop calling us black.
Absolutely.
We're not a color. Mm-hmm. Explain a little bit more about that. So what are people of color supposed to call themselves? What are we supposed to call ourselves? People with melanin.
I mean, you should just call. You could just be a human being.
How about the word African American? No,
it's a terrible term.
Terrible term.
And first of all, the term African American is a new term. It was created by Jesse Jackson. I think it was 1986. Because
that's recent then.
Yeah, it's not too long ago.
Not too long ago. Yeah.
terms like these are very ambiguous terms. African American, Hispanic, and Latino, all the stuff like that. These are what a term I like to use called exonyms. And yes, this is a term. You can look it up. It's called exonyms. It's what people call you. You didn't call yourself that. Hispanic is a new term. You know, my fathers have Dominican. You know, when he was growing up in like in 1950s, like I don't know what the hell a Hispanic was.
Yeah.
I just always knew I was, you know, I was just Dominican.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, or Guyanese, or whatever you are, you was just that. A Hispanic. A Hispanic, said that's a new term too. They came out that like in the 70s because
they call them Latin American. That's the same thing too.
Well, that's just stating. Well, that's just stating that you came from Latin America, which which would be Caribbean, South America, Central America. You know.
So when you're filling out those forms, you know, you see Black, Hispanic, Caucasian. I don't think they put white. They put Caucasian.
Yeah, it's like Caucasian / white.
Asian, other. How about Asian? Is Asian? Okay, or is that no? Same thing.
I mean, if you're from that continent of Asia, yeah, then why not?
So it's just mostly with the Hispanic and the Black. That's you know.
I mean, it's not a good. It's
we shouldn't be calling.
Well, let me ask you this: is there a Hispanic country?
No.
Is there a Hispanic island?
No.
Is there a Hispanic flag?
No.
Is there a Hispanic nation?
No.
No, it's just a culture.
Yeah.
It's not a group of people. Same thing with Black. I tell people this all the time. Is there a Black island I don't know about? Is there a Black continent? Is there a Black country? No. It's a new term. They called you that.
Yeah. I guess they use that so we can identify people. So
no,
when we talk about it, we know what class to.
No, I feel like, and me personally, I feel like when people call themselves Black, I feel like it's just a mental disorder, honestly. Because clearly you can see from our complexion, we're clearly brown. But the funny thing, you will call George Lopez brown, but you'll call me Black. What? Who's more brown? If anything, he's just tan.
Yeah.
But I'm Black. Right now, I'm wearing a black hoodie. You could clearly see the difference. Now, the difference is that you have dark people. Yes. You could be dark skinned. Dark skin don't necessarily mean black. You're just dark.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You compared to Drake, you'd be darker than him.
Yeah. Like, what do you call people like me? Light skin?
I think you know
Drake, light skin.
You know, obviously
red skin boys.
Yeah, all these all these terms and stuff like that. You know, I mean, you know those kind of terms and stuff like that. But like I said, but at the end of the day, these are terms. When they call you these terms, they're taken away from who you really are. At the end of the day, if you're born here in America, you're an American, plain and simple. Why do you have to hyphenate it? You know what I mean? So when white people gets to be white, I mean, there's no such thing as white either. You know, but. My thing is, but if you're going from a political term, but they equate the word white because it has power into it. And they group white people, and you gotta remember, there were certain groups that didn't even qualify to be white. At one point, Italians weren't considered white. To be white, you had to be Anglo-Saxon. You had to be like blue eyes, blonde hair. That's what we could consider white.
That's like what Hitler's kind of people, the
yeah,
Aryan
you know what I'm
race or
saying?
whatever.
Yes, exactly. So what ended up happening was the Irish and Italians, because they're like the minorities of Europe. Or whatever. So what ended up happening is like, I think in the 1970s they grouped them in. It's like, you could be part of the white society too. Yeah. Or whatever. So now they grouped them into the group. All these are just groups. There's no such thing as a black and a white person. Yeah. You know, the United States tells you that. Look at the Bill of Rights. Look at the Constitution. They tell you there's no such thing as black and white people. Yeah. But
they basically brainwash us and mess us up.
You know, yeah, exactly. We just go along with the get along at the end of the day.
Let's move on. You're also into politics. What's your thoughts on the current president, Joe Biden? You a fan of him? Yes or no?
Joe Biden's terrible.
Terrible?
Terrible. You know, one of the worst presidents. Yeah. You know, I'm personally a Trump fan or whatever. Yeah. That's very controversial. It's very controversial. Oh, how you a Trump fan or whatever? Because I could separate the man from the business. From a business standpoint, the man is excellent at the end of the day. And I feel like, what I like about him is that no handouts. I'm gonna get it out your bootstraps. A lot of people don't like the way how he talk. Sometimes you need a little kick in the ass from time to time. You get what I'm saying? And when he was here, let's be honest with you. I remember when he left. I remember he said like, "Hey, tell you look at everything before all this happened." The economy was was great at the time. Gas was stupid cheap. Look at gas now. What is gas like? What is like $4.20 or some shit like that? Yeah. Crazy. right? And another thing, the funny thing is that people always talk about, oh, Trump is this, he got a bad attitude, but the funny thing is, he was one of the only few presidents in his whole 4 years didn't get into beef with not one country, not one. The man went to North Korea. Nobody didn't want to go there. The man went to North Korea, spoke to Kim Jong-un himself, had a conversation. Who's doing that? The man had no problems with nobody. But somebody's, he's this and that stuff like, no, why? Because he understands business.
If he was still in office right now, probably think this thing won't be going on.
No. You know why? Because here's the thing. They both respect each other because Trump is not afraid of Putin, and Putin is not afraid of Trump. But they respect that. When you got two allies, it's like if Pablo Escobar and El Chapo faced off. It's like, okay, you the king of this, you king, but I respect you. Like at the end of the day, there's a certain respect. Like, all right,
yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Because I know you ain't with no fakery.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You stand on your square.
So no one's crossing the line.
Yeah, you stand on your square. Joe Biden has been lying to forever. And a lot of people don't realize he's the one that wrote that damn crime bill where if you come like back in the days, I think it was in the early 90s, like if you had like a little dime bag like this, you was going to jail for like 20 years, even though you ain't had a record.
Yes, and Kamala Harris too did that. She was locking people up.
Her too.
Days before she came to office.
Exactly.
Yeah. So.
Her too.
Yeah.
But the thing is that he's in there because we hated Trump so much, and all of a sudden like Trump is racist and stuff like that. But Biden I got videos of Biden talking about saying the word nigger. The man said, if you don't vote for me, you're not black. Can you imagine if Trump would have said that? Oh, man, son.
You think he also got into because he was a part of the whole Obama clique?
Of course.
The whole Obama clique. What are your thoughts on Barack Obama as a president?
Oh, he was the worst president we ever had.
Between him and Biden?
Yeah, he was the worst. He was the worst.
What did you think he didn't do when he was in office? He was too laid back, too cool. He didn't handle business.
No, I think what it is, Obama. I think he's a great speaker.
Yeah,
I would say that he's a great speaker. And I'm be honest with you, he's a very intellectual guy.
Yeah,
he went to the Harvard Law School and he was part of the Harvard Law Review. I don't know if a lot of people don't know that. Y'all got to look that up. Harvard Law. You got to be a real student. You got to be the top of the top to be on a part of the Harvard Law Review. Mm-hmm. All my Massachusetts people, they know that. So you got to be a student, and he was part of that. So
learn something new today. Okay.
Exactly. And that's the thing with bothering me because he knows the laws. He knows what the word black means, really means stuff. Because he knows this.
Right.
But he's still going with the get along. That's all Democrats do.
Yeah.
Right. My thing is with Obama is that you flip flop so much because my thing is that you said I'm going to do this. I remember when I think it was with the Trayvon Martin. I remember the Trayvon Martin thing, right? It took him I want to say 3 days to speak up, about that. But when that thing happened in Orlando, I think it was with the LGBT. I think a guy had shot up the club.
Yeah, I remember Orlando. Like it wasn't Orlando.
Literally, that same day he made an announcement like, "Oh, I'm so sorry." I'm like, wait. So this little boy just got hand down because he had a hoodie and he was just minding his business, and you're not gonna say nothing about that.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, okay. And then my thing is that I always tell people all the time, what the hell did Obama do? Obama did nothing.
Said he helped pass that bill, the health care, even though Trump said that bill was trash.
But we always had. He's right. But we always had free health. We always had free health care.
Obamacare. What do you think about that Obamacare?
No, but the thing is, he just put his name on it. That's all what it is.
Yeah.
You could come up with Nestle care tomorrow. You could change it too.
Yeah.
It ain't doing nothing.
Yeah.
If you make a certain amount of money, you gotta remember, as an American here, you're entitled to health insurance. If you don't make a certain amount, you could get, like health care plus and all that stuff like that. He didn't do anything.
He killed Osama bin Laden.
Please. We all know, but please. He was working with the United States. He was part of the CIA. He got us all this training here in Miami, and he had a different name at the time. I can't remember at the time. I can't remember his little stage name he had, but
they said he took credit off of Bush. Bush already had that set up again. Osama bin Laden.
Well, because he was in cahoots with Bush. Bush is like, I'm not gonna capture him.
So, all right. So, what about the Democrat Party? A lot of people, because people clear this up for me.
Yeah.
A lot of people think the Republicans are the ones who raise taxes. They're for the rich people, the rich getting rich and the poor getting poor. And Democrats are the cool. They seem like the cool party, the party that's going to help people with the health care, and they're for the people. What do you think about that?
I just want to say this: the Democrats and the Republicans, they both play off each other.
Yeah.
But one is just more blatant about it, and the other is kind of like, all right, yeah, we're kind of helping you. You got to kind of get on your bootstraps. The thing is with Democrats, everything is a handout. Notice everything with Democrats is everything is a care. Care this, care that, care this. Give out free money. There's no such thing as free money. They're definitely taking that back. My thing is that how you going to help a group of people if you keep giving them stuff all the time? So you're making them, you're making them lazy or whatever, stuff like that. That's what you're doing. You're not telling them to become business people or go out there and get on your own. Republicans, on the other hand, with some of them, not all, but with some of them, they just like, yo, listen, we're already in a deficit, right? Why we just keep giving? Okay, we can give a little, but then let them work for it. We'll give you a little boost, but then eventually you gotta get off the bootstraps.
Yeah.
But because, with a certain group of people, obviously, because let's be honest with you, most business people I know, they're always for the Republicans. Let's be honest with you. If you're a business person, you making money, 9 times out of 10, you're going to be a Republican.
Yeah.
And obviously, if you're just making it, or whatever term you want to use, middle class, working class, I don't know, all these colloquial terms, 9 times out of 10, if you're not a politician, you're gonna be a Democrat because you like the fact they keep giving you handouts all the time. These stimulus checks and all this stuff like that, or whatever the case may be. There's nothing wrong with a little help, but if you keep getting helped all the time, I always say, ain't nothing for free in this world. Nothing. To get something, you got to give something. Yeah. It's always gonna happen. That's just how America is.
Let's switch it up. Let's talk about Pookie, Ray, and all this stuff. Why do you think the average guy, we talk about this a lot, is seen as cornballs, and women don't appreciate the average guys. They want the bad boys, the hot guys. What's going on in society? What needs to change? The mindset,
Number one, stop competing with each other. Men and women need to stop competing.
Yeah.
That's the first thing I always mention. Like, why are you always competing? Like, I make more money. Why is it like that? When our parents was growing up, it was like, okay, if I make 80,000, you make 40. You make 40,000. Okay, together we make 120,000. All right, cool.
Yeah.
Why does that matter? But now it's turned into like a war, especially in our cultures. It turned into a damn war. Nobody doesn't want to play their role. Some of the men want to be women. The women want to be men, especially today's women. They want to be masculine and all stuff like that. I want to call all the shots and all that stuff like that. They want to call the shots until it's time to really call the shots or to be in a man's position.
But that's like the ultimate thing, being an independent lady, being independent,
Yeah, but nobody's independent, man. Everybody needs somebody, man.
Yeah.
No, everybody in this world needed help or a boost from somebody. I hate that word. I hate that word independent, man. That's what I hate about this era. We just come up with these terms, independent. Our parents, I always go back to our parents, our generation. They never use those kind of terms. I mean, I never heard of it. Independent, all that stuff like that.
Bad bitch.
Man. all those. You get what I'm saying? It's like we're always going to get. This is why the divorce rate is high. This is why so many the single mothers, single fathers, whatever stuff like that. It's gotten away. I think the thing is that. And a lot of women go say, oh, the quality of men, you're not there. Well, what about the quality of women? Because let's be perfectly honest with you. Like, at the end of the day, women at the end of the day do the picking. They do the choosing at the end. They're the ones that gotta accept. But a lot of times, what I see what's happening is that, they'll say, oh, there's no good men. Every woman to me has had a good woman in their life some way, something. But but he caught you at the wrong time. Why? You thought he was too corny, he was too nerdy. Yeah. He doesn't tickle my fancy. You know what I mean? But this guy over here, this football player who's like 6'5", this and stuff like that, 8-pack, look good and stuff like that. But then, when he run through you, now all of a sudden, oh, men ain't shit, whatever stuff like that. Men ain't good. No. You see, you went for the boy toy, whatever stuff like that. But then, when he left you, now all of a sudden
they want to double back.
You want to double back. You got to put your priorities in. But So what
do you think? Remember Cam Newton made that statement a couple of weeks ago. What do you think about that? A lot of women went crazy when he made that statement.
Oh, with the I forgot exactly what he said now.
About the bad being.
Yeah, he said. Yeah, he was saying.
Remember,
something.
his family raised him. He's old school. They raised.
Because he said his mother. His father's still married. They've been married for over 34 years, and he was raised by his parents, who's still together, and his grandma. And he said they were never no bad bitch or whatever stuff. They never called themselves bad bitches and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And what he was saying is that, women want. I think women want to look the part instead of being a part. He said as far as a wife.
Yeah.
He was like, he's like, you can't even do the basics. He's like, I'm a bad bitch, but you can't cook.
Yeah.
You don't know when I think the thing with Tricky, like, you don't know when to be quiet, let a man lead. But he's right.
Yeah.
Like sometimes you gotta know your role. You ever hear someone like, I kind of want a man like kind of just put me in my place, tell me like, yo, relax, calm down. There's nothing wrong with that.
Right.
Because sometimes you're not observant of yourself, or you're not self-aware. So he might be like, yo, relax. Like
some women don't like that. Some women would like you to take lead, but then some women don't.
Some don't. Yeah. But the problem is that the some don't. Okay, that's fine. But then when you get into a altercation, you get into something, or whatever the case may be. Because you gotta remember, at the end, men think logically. Women just think with everything with women, most women is emotional.
Mm-hmm.
See, a man is gonna go logic, like, yo, listen, I think you should be a little cautious because such and such and such. A woman be like, I don't know, I got a good feeling about this. I'm like, okay,
yeah.
But that's 50-50. You know what I mean? Like, so it's like stuff like that, and I think you need the male energy, you need the masculine energy, you need the feminine energy. You need both have to intertwine. But it goes back to what I said, and I think the thing is that I think a lot of women today, they just want to be single wives, essentially. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I get it, with this whole women, with feminism, with women empowerment.
You think about the whole feminism thing. Not a big fan of it.
It's trash.
Trash?
It's trash. It was never yours to begin with. Because the thing is, I always, Albert Einstein had this quote that any female that wants to be compared to I'm paraphrasing, but you want to be compared to a man lacks vision. I agree with that. Why do you want to be equal to a man? I don't want to be equal to a woman. It's our differences that makes us great. There's things I may not be able to do. You as a female could bring some insight. Right. There's some things as a male, some things you may lack, I could bring it. Like, why do you want to be like why do you want to be like you? And let's be honest, men and women can never be treated equally. Never. Anybody that have brothers and sisters, you're never gonna be raised the same. You know what I mean? You as a boy, you might you can stay out, like till 8 o'clock. Your sister, what? Nah, 5 o'clock you in here. Nah, it get too dark. Oh, come on. That's just how it is. You know what I mean? Because, like I said, women are delicate. You want to protect them or whatever. Man, it's like, yo, he got it. Like,
yeah.
you going to be all right. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. What are your thoughts on this OnlyFans? Women making a lot of money off that.
I mean, whether you like it or not, but I can't even blame the women. If guys are stupid enough to pay, I can't hate it. I say it all the time. Like, listen, pimp on.
They caking it out.
If you, I feel like this. I mean,
are you thinking do you think that along with social media is making a lot of women more lazier? This OnlyFans and watching other women get the bag with getting the changing their body, the big breasts, the ass. Well,
you gotta remember the number one thing that women are always going to have the advantage of is that body part that they have.
Yeah,
it makes me. I'm gonna be honest, and it makes men go crazy. At the end of the day. You got men in jail doing this, doing that for that, and women, and you got. I mean, obviously, I'm not a fan of it, but they're monetizing what they got. Like, listen, y'all like fat asses, that, y'all like curvaceous bodies, or whatever stuff like that. Y'all want to see it, some of your favorite IG models or influencers or whatever. Hey, you got to pay to play.
Yeah.
Like you want to see it. Like, I mean,
they say they have some females. They would focus. I was watching something on TV. They would focus on one or two. They had an interview, 2 chicks. They were about to finish their masters, the bachelor's going on for their masters in school. But it's going through social media and seeing all these girls getting the bag so easy. They're like, damn, I'm over here busting my ass. They're doing the right thing.
Yeah.
But these chicks out here who not as intelligent as I am, or not putting in the work, they getting the easy money. So a lot of them quit that and they started going straight for the bag with the all the other stuff. Wow. Okay. Yeah. So, what's your thoughts on that?
I get it, because with student loan debts and I mean it makes sense because a lot of times if you go to school, you bust your ass and you see one of your peers like, girl, I just got $15,000 like in 1 week. I'm like, 15,000? Yeah. What did you do? I just had a few bikini pics, twerked a little bit, yada yada. I'm like, damn, for real?
Yeah.
And you're gonna be intrigued by like that. Then that's all you gotta do. I mean, obviously people doing a little bit more than that too, though. But let's be honest, like. It's the money motivates people, you know, and like I said, whether it's a morality thing, I think that's kind of out the window now. But
yeah,
you know, some people like, yo, listen, if I gotta do this and they'll get me to a certain plateau, whatever.
Yeah.
You know,
what do you think? Let's switch it up a little bit.
Yeah.
What do you think? America's in debt. What do you think what can be done? Or what do you think should be done in terms of going towards the right step? It's trillions of dollars, so you know it's not gonna happen in our lifetime.
No, it's never gonna think.
Never gonna happen.
No.
Do you like the relationship that they have with China? Do you think we should have a relationship with China? What are your thoughts on all of the stuff that's going on in the economy?
Well, the United States need China because China's going to be a power. China's already a powerhouse already.
Yeah,
you get what I'm saying. So, you know, and right now, you know, China's dominating. China's dominating all over the world. I mean, let me not even say the United States. I mean, half of the stuff. There's things here in the United States China owns, people don't even know.
Yeah.
You know, China owns half of the New Jersey Turnpike.
And you know that.
You know they own the half of the Golden Gate Bridge.
No, they didn't know that too.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. This stuff I look up, but yeah, they're silent part. They're all over the Caribbean.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I mean, they don't took over Jamaica. They literally. They own
Chinese,
the ports,
right?
everything. Yeah, they literally.
They said Chinese are invading everything, man.
Yeah, man. So that's the thing because remember, like, and that's what they're doing because you know obviously it's a communist country, so a lot of them just. They literally all over, and you know whether you like them or not. But one thing to do, they're gonna come together. They're gonna get this money one way or another.
Yeah,
you get what I'm saying. So you know, Africa, they're in Africa too. You know, they're dominating Africa.
There's a big grift over there that after the Asians over there in Africa beating up Africans or something. Remember that something happened a couple of years ago?
I think I heard about that. Yeah,
yeah,
but.
Treating Africans
you know what I mean? But that's what happens. You allow foreigners in your country to get comfortable. You know, just because somebody give you a smile, you know, and say hi to you doesn't mean you know he's your friend. But I mean, you always get sucked into that and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You know, you know. See now, if you had people like back in the days like Idi Amin or whatever, you know yeah, I know they call him a dictator, but I don't think he is. But you know, he was the president. I think it was of Uganda, if I'm not mistaken. You know, he was having them bow to him and all kinds of stuff. He's like, nah. He's like, I remember one time they had like some white reporters over there, I think, and he gave them, I think, 24 hours to leave the country or they would all be dead. Like, he was just like, yo, nah, you're not coming over here and changing stuff up. You know what I mean? He made them come in. They literally, you could pull up the picture. Idi Amin, where the people bowing to him. He's like, yeah, you gonna bow to me? You came to my country. Like, call what you want, but that's bossing up. You gotta let people know, like, nah, you're not gonna come over here. You ain't doing that colonialism 2.0 again. And but unfortunately, like, you know, it's still going on. You know, so it's either through that or they go through the men and the women.
Yeah.
So
let's switch it up one more time. Let's talk about health. See, you're very big on health.
Absolutely, man. Health is wealth.
Yeah, let us know how you got into that. You just something recent, something you've been doing for a while.
Well, you know what it is like. You know, because I've been vegan for like 11 years now, and
that's good. Yeah,
I just remember, like, you know, obviously, you know, growing up. I remember when I was growing up, I would eat certain things. You know, I was like any other kid, high school and stuff like that. Laffy Taffy candy, everyday chips, all that stuff like that. And my skin would be breaking out and all that stuff like that. You know, at the time you don't know anything. You're just like, all right, I'm drinking milk, all kind of wild stuff. Just eating, you know, $3 heroes, you know, all kind of stuff like that. And I remember I was getting old. I was like 19, 20 years old. And I'm just like, why I keep breaking out and all this stuff like that? Like, yo, what the hell? Like all over my skin or whatever. And even though I was still young, like I would feel sluggish. I feel tired. I mean, I was always slim, but you could still feel sluggish. Like I ain't got no energy and whatever stuff like that. And I think one time I came across this book. Like I wasn't, like I'm an avid reader now, but at that time I was reading, but I wasn't like reading like how I was now at that, like, you know, at that time, especially about health. So one time I was in a library. I remember I was doing this, I was writing this project and I couldn't find the book, but I found this book about health. It's about, it was something about the skin. And I don't know, for some reason it just interests me because I was like, obviously, you know, like why I keep breaking out and all that stuff like that. I used to wear long sleeve stuff. I'm like, yo, because it looked bad, like eczema kind of.
Yeah. And
I'm reading. I was like, let me read this real quick. And it was like some guy, and I'm reading it. He was like, you know, a lot of times is that I didn't know. I never even heard of the word gluten. Let's be honest with you. 2002, 2003, you never heard the word gluten. We didn't even know that should even exist. I'm like, what the hell is gluten? You know, parasites, all these stuff like that. And I'm reading it. He was like, yeah, like
With Dr. Sebi?
No, it wasn't that. I didn't
Okay.
know. To be honest, I didn't know about Dr. Sebi till like maybe 20. Remember, he didn't pop to like maybe like 2011. You had to like, you had to literally be from Honduras or you were like from the old school.
Old school,
Because remember, he wasn't. Remember, they didn't have YouTube and all that stuff when he came out.
Yeah.
That had to be word of mouth. He
Yeah.
was from Central America. He was from Honduras or whatever the case may be. So I didn't know about Dr. Sebi. Maybe like was like 2014, 15, or
And
something
then
like that.
he became
popped.
even more popular with the whole Nipsey Hussle thing, with Nipsey and stuff like
Well,
that.
yeah, and, yeah. Then he talked about when he think Michael Jackson
Yeah.
and all these people like that. So, yeah. So what ended up happening was, and one thing I asked a lot of questions.
Mhm.
But you know this, I asked a lot of questions, and he was just like, you know, why is us humans, why are we drinking cow's milk?
Mm.
You know, obviously, like, you know, of course, we drinking milk every day, cereal, this. I'm like, are we not supposed to drink cow's milk? He's like, you're not a cow. And then one of the points, I like when people give me perspective. He was like, let me actually, right? And this is on the book when the guy was writing. I can't remember the book. It's, you know, I was like 19 at the time. And he was like, can a cow drink your milk? Like, well, a woman's milk? He's like, no. So what makes you think their milk is for you at the end of the day? You're not a cow. I was like, damn, I never thought about it that way. See, like, and this is why you have what is it called, intolerance or lactose intolerance. There you go.
Yeah, lactose intolerant.
Which I was all this time, which I never knew because I'm always constipated. You know, we eating cheese with everything, stuff like. But you know, you didn't know these things. I'm just like, yo, it tastes good. I'm eating it. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, it tastes good. I'm just eating it. And I started reading. I'm like, oh shoot, this made sense. And he was like, what it is that you're eating gluten, you're eating this, you're eating that, and it's what happens is that anything that you put in your body on the inside, it's going to manifest outside. So if you got bad acne, it's what you put in. Everything starts with what you put in your body. And I was just like, damn, this is interesting. And I started reading more into it. It was like a plant-based kind of thing. And then like in the back of the book, I remember he had like, he used the term like, you know, plant-based at the time. That was a new term too. I was like, okay, that's new. He's talking about like going on a fast. I didn't even know what the hell a fast was. Like, what the hell is a fast? You know, going like 2 days with just drinking water. I was like, me? You talking about I can't eat no wings, no fries? And I'm like, but it was new. I was interested. I was like, because I wanted to be honest with you, I wanted to clear up my body because it would look bad. Like, yo, nothing would happen to my face and anything else, but like my rest of my body is like always and it bothered me. I was self-conscious like a mug. And I remember I was telling my mom, you know, you can't tell West Indian people that. Like, oh, kind of stripping this and that or whatever. But anyway, long story short, I read into it. I started, I started doing the things that he said. And I'm going to be honest with you, I always say within a week, I was like, yo, I do feel a little difference. I cut down all the heroes buying out Chinese food. I was like, I feel a little bit all right. And then I remember one time I went to the library and I asked like you got any more like, I guess plant-based, because the term vegan wasn't really a thing yet.
Yeah,
it
was more vegetarians around.
I think, I didn't even know about that term either, to be honest with you, later on. You know what I'm saying? So, and I was like, you know, more books like this, like, you know, about the body. And then that's when she came like, oh, yeah, we got some, like, and I started reading, like, you know, plant-based books, vegetarian. I was like, okay. And I started diving in more and more. I was like, oh, shoot. I was like, okay. And then, obviously, then I was like, you know, I'm turning vegetarian. So I stopped eating, you know, chicken and stuff like that. I was never a pork person, you know. I wasn't
no bacon, egg, and cheese.
Yeah. Well, not no more. We only ate that, you know, when you go to high school, bacon, egg, because it's easy, you know, because it's quick. But long story short, you know, I just started diving in more and more and more, and I seen the difference in my body. I had more energy. My skin started clearing up. I started importing more water. That was another thing. I wasn't drinking water. It was always 50-cent sodas,
quarter waters,
all that shit, son. So, you know, and I just felt energized. I felt better. I was like, yo, this thing really works. And then I started diving in more, and then that's when I started knowing about people in other countries, like in Thailand, where they'll go like on a dry fast and and you know, and that's why I'm happy I was able to go to like to Thailand, some of these Asian countries, because you see how they do. And one thing I learned is to eat in portions. You don't have to eat like you're a caveman.
Yeah.
When you go to some of these other countries, they eat like a little small bowl,
portions, yeah.
and that's it, with little steamed vegetables. And I started incorporating. I was like, you know, I remember like my mom made me something like, nah, my mom, that's too much. You give me like you just glopping on enough rice and dal and all kind. No.
A lot of people like to eat because like eating and make
you
you feel
get full. Yeah, and then you're sluggish.
Mom says, eat to live, don't live to eat.
Yes, absolutely.
And I went to UK. They gave me small portions in
Europe.
Europe.
I remember
some people were like, yo, what this all this money just for this little thing?
No lie. I remember I went to Amsterdam, right? And I remember I took my father, and I was like, you know, hey, I was right there on Dam Square. I was like, can I get like a hot chocolate? Right? Can I get a large? He's like, okay, cool. Bro, no lie, when he got the large is this size.
Yeah.
And I told him, like, no, I said a large. He said, yes, this is a large. I said, what? You know, we used to a large like that.
I
was like, what the hell?
Someone did say that. She said, yo, that's why you Americans are so obese.
Yes.
Someone told us that. We were there with one of the other guys who was hanging out with us. He says, you guys like stuff supersized. You guys why you have obesity in America. We don't do that over here.
Yes.
Wow.
No, but it's true. And I was just like, oh, snap. And I remember, and my dad pointed this out. He's like, have you noticed that everybody here is riding bikes?
Yeah.
They don't have escalators. You got to actually walk up the steps. I was like, and he pointed this out to me. He was like, I noticed there's no obese people here. Everybody riding bikes.
Yeah.
There's no escalators. You got to actually walk up the steps. I'm like, you're right. He's like, yeah, in America, everybody's so fat and this. And I'm like, it's true. I'm like, oh, shoot. And everything here, they cut down your portions. And a lot of things in Europe. And Europe bans a lot of stuff that here in the U.S. they accept, like GMO and your stuff. It's banned in Europe. You can't put no GMO on stuff like here. No, it's fine.
Yeah,
that's cool.
Supersize it.
Yeah, man. But as far as the health, and then eventually I just turned straight vegan, raw, plant-based, whatever term you want to call it, and I've been like that for like 11 years. It's been the best decision.
So what are some of the things you eat for protein? Because a lot of people that's one thing people always say, yo, you guys are vegan or vegetarian. How do you guys get your protein? You need meat to get your protein.
Well, to be honest with you, I mean, a lot of times your body already produces protein.
Yeah, I remember you telling me about that. That's a lot of things people don't know.
I tell people this all the time. Anytime, anybody here, if you ever got into a physical and they give you your numbers, notice the doctor never says you have a protein deficiency. Mm-hmm. Have you said like, yo, your protein is just low, like you're just deficient? No, not necessarily. And you could substitute that. You could use chickpeas or garbanzo beans, however you want to call it. You could use quinoa, sweet potato. There's things you can substitute for that.
No tofu, no soy.
No, I'm not a fan of that. You know, I'm not a fan of that personally.
Yeah.
You know, there's things you can, and the thing is, I think when you go in plant-based, vegan, whatever term you want to use, I think people always think the fallacy is like, it's just fruits and salad all day. No.
Yeah, that people.
Nothing wrong with that, but no, you got to be creative. What I've done, I've taken some of my food that I ate in my culture and I just remixed it.
Yeah.
Because you got to remember, what makes the food bad is the ingredients in the food. Mm-hmm. You get what I'm saying? So all you got to do, you just got to remix the ingredients and put better ingredients in it.
Yeah.
You know, you can manipulate like a lot of things. You can make your own ice cream. Mm-hmm. You can make your own milk. I do all that.
Yeah.
You can make all these stuff, but a lot of times, being here, especially here in the United States, everything is quick. Everything is quick. I like it. That's why there's a McDonald's everywhere. Everything is quick. I don't feel like cooking. I just want to quick, fast, in a hurry.
What are some of the people always ask about this? Mm-hmm. About milk. There's soy milk. There's rice milk. There's wheat milk, almond milk. Yeah. Which milk do you drink, or what milk do you recommend for people? There's so many different types of milk now. You can't even keep up now.
Yeah. I mean, it depends to your preference. I mean, I make my own milks personally.
Yeah.
I use. I make my own coconut milk. I use hemp seed milk. I use almond milk. Mm-hmm. These are things I make literally by hand, like myself. I don't mind, because one thing with me, and I don't even eat out that much. Once in a while, I eat out because I like to control what's in the food. Mm. I like this. Now coach, you be like, I don't know if I want to eat from other people. I don't know if they clean. It's like one of those things. Like I like to control, because when I cook, I know what's in it. Yeah. When other people cook, you don't know what kind of oil they use, if they did this. I'm one of those kind of people. I'm very, I'm very iffy about that. Anal about that. But yeah. But as far as milk, I know people use soy milk. I don't use that though. Yeah. But But there's great alternatives to use. You know, you can, and obviously you can see. I would say the good thing is that a lot of people are doing that, especially around here now. You can use definitely. You could put almond, like they got in Starbucks. You can use almond milk, coconut milk, which is good. You're trying to stay away from like the cow's milk and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And it puts better nutrients in your body.
Yeah, they said some of the young girls, they're growing up with breasts and stuff because they're drinking all that milk, and they say that's why they're growing up and looking like
estrogen.
13-year girls looking like big women already. You do believe that's true?
To some degree, yeah.
Yeah, the milk, the hormones.
With that, the eating meat.
Yeah.
You eating beef, this pork, all that. Of course. You remember you eating animals at the end of the day. You don't know what the hell has been in these animals. You don't even know if it's been fed or anything like that.
Yeah.
I tell people this all the time, right? We love chicken. Well, not me, but most people eating. Think about it, right? Everywhere you go in this world, right? You got chicken nuggets, chicken wings, fried chicken, baked chicken, jerk chicken, General Toast chicken. I'm like, where the fuck you getting all these chickens from?
Yeah, I heard someone say that. They was like, that's not real chicken that they're eating. There's no all that.
Let me tell you something. When I was growing up back home, you know how hard it is to catch fowl, the mug, and when you caught it. After you thing the neck, you skin it down, it's maybe like this small. You go to the supermarket, whether it's Purdue or stuff like that, bro, these shits, you seen them, maybe like this big. I'm like, what? Yeah. But what they're doing, they're injecting them hormones, to make them big and all that stuff like that. Where are you getting all these chickens from?
So that you don't think that's real chicken that they don't have?
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
Absolutely not. Listen, if they can make fake rice, fake cabbage, fake this, fake that, why you think we have seedless everything?
It's better seeds than not seeds, right?
Of course.
Yes, of course. Yeah.
How you growing it?
Yeah.
It's been cultivated.
Yeah. That's what they also say too. A lot of these things that's so-called plant-based, it says stop eating those things that's so plant-based because what they gotta go through to make it. It's not.
I tell you. Let me tell you something. I'm gonna tell you this.
The oxtail and chicken.
I'm gonna tell you this.
Veggie nuggets.
Yeah, I was telling my cousin who just came from St. Martin not too long ago. I was like, let me tell you something. I don't push. Whether you call it veganism or anything or anybody. My thing is that, listen, don't eat all this fake meat, fake this. If you're a meat eater, just eat the meat. You better just eat the meat. Don't eat no fake meat where they put all this stuff. No. I done seen meat on a stick, all kind of. I'm like, when you go to these vegan spots, listen, you might just eat the. If you're gonna get, you might just eat the real thing.
Veggie hot dogs, veggie links,
all that
veggie
shit.
Veggie patties. No,
yeah, like
okay.
you might like in veggie hot dog. You might just eat the real thing. And I tell people all the time: pay attention to the ingredients.
Yeah.
If you can't spell the ingredients or you don't know the word, you shouldn't be eating it. Yeah. Plain and simple. I still have to tell my mom that.
Hear that, guys? Pay attention to your ingredients.
You got to read the ingredients. Mm-hmm. See, like when I go food shopping, I'm the most annoying person to go food shopping. That's why my parents, they can't go food shopping me because 90% of things they do are like, nah. I'm like, look, it got this. Okay, well, what is that? Yeah. Can you tell me what's that? Oh, I don't know. What's guar gum? Oh, I don't know. Whatever. So why are you buying it then if you don't know?
Yeah.
You got a smart dumb phone, right? Look it up. Oh, I mean, yeah. I'm like, okay then. Yeah. But this is my thing. So you're gonna put stuff in your body that you don't even know. Well, it tastes good, of course, because they manipulated it.
Right. Yeah. They manipulated it.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Even like the cereal that we ate growing up. Yeah. Whether it was Trix,
Apple Jacks, all that.
You know they got carpet cleaner in that shit.
I never knew that.
Look up the ingredients and shit. You know, all the time they had they have ingredients in there where they use carpet cleaner.
I know they use a lot of dye, fruit dyes and all that.
Obviously, you know, we were young, we were kids, we didn't know any better. But
it messed up a lot of children too. All that stuff.
Of course. And why do you think they was putting children on Ritalin and all this dumb stuff like that? Is because
stuff that they
of these things.
Yeah.
You know, my thing is, I tell people all the time, health is I know a lot of times we live in a society where we love things, cars, this, that, and I get it. Yeah. But the biggest thing you can invest in, I say this all the time, is your health. Yeah. I feel like if you're gonna spend money, it should be your health. And when I say your health, I'm not talking about getting your body. I'm talking about what you put in the inside of your body now. It's going to save you in the long run. You ever see some of these hospital bills and all stuff? Like all these stuff could be prevented. Mm-hmm. Cancer, diabetes, all these stuff can be cured. Cancer is just broken cells. You know, diabetes, you know what I mean? Your sugar's too high. Right. All sugar is not good. Why you can't go on a 2-day water fast? Yeah.
And I think that's something you should try to do, because what if you were stuck somewhere and you literally couldn't get food and you just had water?
Yeah.
It's good to do those things. And I tell people this all the time. You don't like when you're tired, when your body's tired, right? What do? You go to sleep like, I'm about to take a nap. You don't think sometimes your stomach is tired? Like, damn, so you eating again? Like, yo, you just like, damn, so you just ate chips. You just ate chocolate cake. Come on, your stomach has a brain too. You don't think your stomach's like, damn, so you eating again? Like, bro, I'm now trying to flood. I'm now trying to get this out. I'm trying to get the food that you ate 3 days ago out of your stomach. Now you gonna add more? I'm like,
a lot of people
God.
are backed up because they eat a big breakfast.
Exactly.
And then when lunchtime comes, their body's still digesting what they ate for breakfast. They eat a big lunch, then they eat a big dinner. By the time dinner comes, their body's still trying to digest lunch and breakfast.
Exactly.
So just like, and that's being done day after day after day.
Exactly.
So yeah.
I mean, that's what I always say. Like, listen, man, you gotta give, and a lot of people don't realize that you gotta. I always tell people all the time, you're not gonna be young forever. You gotta think in the long run. Well, depending on the demographic, we're kind of young. I always say, I do what I can do. I do what I can do best. Now, you never know what can happen, but as far as internal, if I can control it, I'm gonna control it at the end of the day.
So what do you eat for breakfast? I mean, I know you eat probably something light, right?
Nothing really, to be honest. That's why most of the time when I go to work, I'm just drinking water. But if I did, a lot of times,
some people say they can't do it. I need breakfast. I need to eat something heavy in my stomach.
I hate when people say they can't do something. You choose not to. Everything is mental.
I feel like if I eat a big breakfast, it makes me sluggish in the morning. I can't move.
I think the thing is, you can't go wrong with fruits. A nice little small bowl of fruits. Definitely. An orange, a banana, strawberry, stuff like that, just to get you through. Because what you want your food to give you energy. Yeah. You want electric. Eating rice, I don't know how motherfuckers is eating rice. You eating rice, dumpling, all kind of stuff like early in the morning. I know,
ackee and saltfish.
All that. Now I know back home, when when them guys used to work on the rice field and all that stuff, like you need a big. I mean, I get it because that's the thing work, but you could burn that off or whatever. I don't recommend it, but I get it to some degree. But that's not the way to start. I don't think that's the way to start, because the thing is, when you wake up, remember when you're sleeping, your body's fasting. Yeah. It's when you wake up, you're not as bloated no more, stuff, because you remember now your body's on chill mode now. Yeah. Right. So when you go now, it's like you don't want to, like, okay, now my stomach, okay, now it's time to force everything. No, you want to pace it, like, all right, nice little cup of tea or a little water, a little bowl of fruits, get me through here. All right, I should be good these little 4 or 5 hours. And a lot of times we eat with our eyes. Yeah. A lot of times we're really not hungry. We just see it there. It smells good.
That's why they prepare the food like that. We look at it.
That's what I'm saying. Like, our spidey senses, we see it. Oh, okay, I gotta have it.
Gotta have it. You know
what I'm saying?
You just finish eating. Like, I just eating. Well, look, let me get a little piece of that.
Exactly. And to be honest with you, like I said, everything is discipline, man. Everything in life is discipline, man. If you have the right discipline, be fine.
How do you? Sorry to cut you off. No, how do you? What do you recommend? We should be wrapping up real quick. Mm-hmm. What do you recommend for someone who wants to cut out meat? Because some people could do a cold turkey, some people can't. Do you suggest them ease off of it? Well, any suggestions? Yeah.
I mean,
listen, you did it.
Yeah, I mean, my thing is, I did mine cold turkey, but that's just me, though, because I have the mental to do it. But I would tell people, like, honestly, if you're going to do it, all right, if you eat meat, let's say 2-3 times a week, not necessarily cooking it, just buy. You know, telling you about, I'm going to buy this, I'm going to buy a jerk chicken. I would say, you know what? Easy off. All right, I'm going to try it 2 times a week. Then the following, I'm going to try it 1 time a week. And then slowly, like, you know what? Just give me some rice and vegetables. Easily pace yourself from it. You know what I'm saying? Because I know with some people, they just can't do it cold turkey, but just pace yourself from it. And my thing is that when you do it, track yourself, like how I feel, like the energy and all that stuff like that. That's why I usually tell people, just, run your own lane. Try to leave it. I ain't saying you gotta give it up completely, but you don't have to eat it every day or 2-3 times. Like, even if it's once a week, on Monday is eat meat Monday, and then after that, the rest of the week I'm just eating like rice, vegetables, whatever the case may be.
And also helps to have people around you who are like it too. Because if you try to do that and you have temptations with a brother, sister, or boyfriend, or a loved one, or whatever, you're still eating meat. You get that temptation, especially if you don't have the discipline. It's like, oh shit.
Absolutely.
They start cooking. Oh, come on, I gotta cook differently for you now. Just eat some of this.
I know. You're right.
Just one thing messes it up, you back to square one again.
Exactly.
Before we wrap it up, man, you dropped some good gems today, man. Let people know how they can find you on social media. I know you're on IG, right?
Yeah.
Know, because in case they want to get some more information, because you share a lot of important information out there on health and a lot of other stuff. So
I mean, you know, I would say follow me with caution because I post a lot of you know controversial stuff. Not controversial, just stuff to, you know, just to get you to think. I don't think it's controversial, but to most people it may be. But you know, I'm on IG. You know, it's Cacique de Guyana.
Yeah, spell that out. Yeah,
it's it means you know in Spanish it means Chief of Guyana, right? But it's CAC. Oh God, I'm forgetting my own thing. CACIQUEDEGUIANA. You know, not Guyana with the Y, with the I. The original indigenous name of Guyana before it was changed with the Y. Yeah, it was GUI. Like you see how they got French Guiana. They have Guyana, French Guiana, and then you have Suriname.
Yeah.
Because it's broken into 3 colonies. It's the British, which is British Guyana. And then you have Dutch, you know, Dutch Guyana.
Right.
Which is now Suriname, and then you have French Guiana. Yeah. So
there you go, man.
You know what I'm saying?
You're dropping so much gems and knowledge, man. Follow this, man. Lloyd, appreciate you from coming out tonight.
Definitely, brother. Anytime, man.
You got to chop it up again.
I know. We do.
This wraps up another episode of Face to Face. Yours truly, Nessa Can. Take care and God bless.